بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه أما بعد يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we continue going over the tremendous book Aqeedatut Tawheed by the Fadilat Shaykh Al-Allama Shaykh Salih Al-Fawzan Hafidhahullah Ta'ala. We're still dealing with the section which deals with the aqwal wal af'al tunafi at-tawheed aw tunqisu, those statements and those actions that will negate the tawheed or it will decrease it. No doubt all of these sections that are contained inside of this book are important, and all of the sections inside of this particular chapter, all of the sub-chapters inside of this chapter, then are very important. As relates to this particular section and the sub-chapters that are contained therein, it is important so that we know what not to do and what to stay away from. The Shaykh, he brings as the 10th section or the 10th portion of this section في الرقى والتمائم. It deals with incantations, charms and amulets. Incantations, charms and amulets. But ruqa, as the Shaykh Hafidhullah Ta'ala, he explains each of the two words that are mentioned inside of the heading. Ar-ruqa jam' ruqya. Ruqa, it is the plural of ruqya, and ruqya هي العوذة التي يرقى بها صاحب الآفات كالحمى أو كالحمى والصرع وغير ذلك من الآفات. He said that what is meant, or what is a ruqya, then this is an incantation that an individual who was affected or ill affected with the likes of, for an example, high fevers, fainting spells, or fits of epilepsy, seizures. Now, and other than that, from those things that ill affect the individual, ويسمونها العزائم أو عزائم أو عزائم وهي على نوعين. And the ruqya, it is of two types. The ruqya, it is of two types. The first type, النوع الأول ما كان خاليا من الشرك. The first type is the ruqya that doesn't contain any type of shirk, doesn't contain any type of polytheism. بأن يقرأ على المريض شيء من القرآن. For example, to read something over the one who was sick from the Qur'an. To read something from the Qur'an upon the one who was sick. أو يعوذ بأسماء الله وصفاته. Or that they use as a ruqya the name of Allah or the names of Allah or His attributes. That they utilize this as ruqya. The Shaykh, he says, فَهَذَا مُبَاحٌ. He said, this is okay, this is permissible. لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قد رقى وأمر بالرقية وأجازة. Because the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he used to command, or he used to do ruqya, and he used to command that the ruqya be done, and he allowed it. فعن عوف بن مالك رضي الله تعالى عنه قال كنا نرقي في الجاهلية فقلنا يا رسول الله كيف ترى في ذلك. عوف bin Malik رضي الله تعالى عنه, he said to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we used to do ruqya in jahiliyyah. That we used to do ruqya in jahiliyyah. So what is your opinion of that? What is your opinion of that? They asked the Messenger ﷺ about the ruqya. He said, we used to do ruqya in jahiliyyah. So what is your opinion of that? فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم, so the Prophet ﷺ, he said, اعرضوا علي رقاكم. He said, tell me, inform me about what you used to say when you did the ruqya, or tell me about this ruqya that you used to do. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he said, لا بأس بالرقية ما لم تكن شركا. He said that there is no problem in ruqya as long as it does not contain shirk. There is no problem in doing ruqya as long as it does not contain anything from shirk. نعم. وقال إمام سيوطي رحمه الله تعالى, he said, وقد أجمع العلماء على جواز الرقى على جواز الرقى. He said, and that the ulama, they have a consensus of the permissibility of ruqya. And then he mentions some شروط. He says عند اجتماع ثلاث شروط. He said this is if three conditions are met. If three conditions are met for the ruqya, then it's permissible. The first of the conditions he mentions, he says أن تكون بكلام الله. That the ruqya, if it's with the speech of Allah, if it's with the speech of Allah, like reciting the Qur'an, meaning reciting the Qur'an upon the one who is sick or afflicted. Or the second, بأسماء الله وصفاته. Or if it's by the names and the attributes of Allah. If it's by the names and the attributes of Allah, then this ruqya is permissible. And then there's a very important point that maybe many people are unaware of and or maybe have not considered. But Imam Suyuti, he mentions, he says, وَأَن تَكُونَ بِلِسَانِ الْعَرَبِ. He says, and it has to be in the Arabic language. It has to be in the Arabic language. مَا يُعْرَفُ مَعْنَاهُ. That which its meaning is known. Naam, it has to be in the Arabic language with that which its meaning is known. Naam, so gibberish, it will be the opposite of this. Now, as you find individuals from the charlatans, and the like, and they come with gibberish and they say the mumbo jumbo words or whatever. No, this is not permissible, but it has to be with that which is known. It has to be with phrases that are known. Now, مَا يُعْرَفُ مَعْنَا, that which its meaning is known. Also he mentions, he says, وَأَنْ يُعْتَقَدْ وَأَنْ يُعْتَقَدْ what? أن رقية لا تؤثر بذاتها. Very important point. He says in that it has to be believed. Now it has to be believed. يعتقد that what? That the ruqya with and within itself has no effect. That the ruqya with and within itself is not. It has no effect by itself. بل بتقدير الله تعالى, but rather it is by the decree of Allah Azza wa Jal. So it's very important that the connection, that a person is connected to Allah Azza wa Jal, because it is Allah Azza wa Jal that cures the sicknesses. It is Allah Azza wa Jal that cures the sicknesses. So a person, he should not be connected. Inshallah ta'ala, we're going to come more to this point, to the ruqya with and within itself, but rather it is a means of what? Of the cure of Allah Azza wa Jal being given to that person. But ala kulli hal, it is Allah that cures the sickness. It is Allah that cures the sickness. And this is a very important point, because you find individuals will go into ghulu, they will go into extremism as relates to ruqya, and in particular as relates to the raqi, as the one who does the ruqya, where they will start to look at individuals as if they have a level that is greater than what they really have, as if these individuals, they themselves have some kind of effect. And this is not permissible, this is not correct, because it is Allah Azza wa Jal that cures. The cure will only come by what? By the permission of Allah Azza wa Jal. So it is very important to know that the ruqya with and within itself will be ineffective, but rather it is only by the decree of Allah Azza wa Jal. Naam. وَكَيْفِيَّتُهَا, and the way of doing the ruqya. Very important. Very important. The way to do the ruqya. And يقرأ وينفذ على المريض, is that you will recite the person he's recited upon, وينفذ وينفذ, and that he is spittled upon, and the like, that the person he is read upon and he is spittled upon. If that makes sense. أو يقرأ في الماء ويسقاه المريض, or that water is recited over and then a person drinks it. That the water is recited over and then the individual, he drinks it. كما جاء في الحديث ثابت بن قيس, as it comes in the hadith of Thabit bin Qais, and the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam أخذ ترابا من بطحان فجعله في قدح ثم نفث عليه بالماء وصبه عليه. The Prophet ﷺ, he brought some dirt from Buthan, and he put it inside of a glass cup, and then he spittled upon it with the water, and he poured it upon him. So this is from the ways that has come, and this hadith has been collected by Abu Dawood, the like. So this is the first type of ruqya. That is the ruqya that it has no shirk in it whatsoever. And the ulama, they agree that the likes of this, then this is permissible. This is permissible. Na'am. النوع الثاني, the second type of ruqya, ما لم يخل من الشرك, is that which is not deprived of shirk, or that which is not devoid, rather, of shirk, meaning it is that which has shirk in it. وهي الرقى التي يستعان فيها بغير الله, And this is the ruqya in which an individual, they seek other than the help of Allah Azza wa Jal. They seek other than Allah Ta'ala's help. من دعاء غير الله واستغاثة واستعانة به, by calling upon other than Allah, seeking help with Him in times of peril, and seeking refuge with these things. كالرقى بأسماء الجن, like doing ruqya by the names of jinn, أو بأسماء الملائكة, or doing ruqya by mentioning the names of the angels, والأنبياء والصالحين, or doing the ruqya by mentioning the names of the anbiya and the names of the righteous ones, like what the Christians they do, like what the Christians they fall into when they do in their quote-unquote ruqya and the like. نعم. وهذا الدعاء لغير الله, and doing ruqya upon this manner, then this is in actuality supplicating to other than Allah. This is to make dua to other than Allah Azza wa Jal. وَهُوَ شِرْكٌ أَكْبَرٌ, and this is major shirk. To make dua to other than Allah Azza wa Jal, this is major shirk. Because الدعاء هو العبادة, كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Dua, it is ibadah. So to call upon other than Allah Azza wa Jal, then this is shirk al-akbar. This is major shirk. This is a type of polytheism that will remove an individual from Islam, render all of his deeds null and void. Na'am, render all of his deeds null and void, remove him from Islam. The type of shirk that if an individual he meets Allah Azza wa Jal with shirk al-akbar, being a mushrik, then is the individual who will remain in the hellfire forever. Na'am. So, bila shak wa bila ray, this issue of making ruqya in an improper way by making ruqya, na'am, by utilizing the names of the jinn, or the names of the angels, or the names of the anbiya, the prophets and messengers, or the names of the righteous ones, then this is something that will negate a person's tawheed. This is something that will negate a person's tawheed. أو يكون بغير لسان العربي, or the second type of ruqya, that of which is not devoid of shirk, and impermissible, is a ruqya that comes in other than the Arabic language. It comes in other than the Arabic language. أو بما لا يعرف معنى, or with that which its meaning is not known, or by that which its meaning is not known. لأنه يخشى أن يدخل كفر أو شرك ولا يعلم عنه, because it is feared that a person by mentioning this gibberish, or by having incantations which are not in Arabic, that disbelief and polytheism will be entered into it, and it will be unknown to it will be unknown, because it's gibberish, or like this, some phrase of shirk can be mentioned, some phrase of kufr can be mentioned, and it's not known. Why? Because it's not in the Arabic language, or it is with gibberish. فهذا النوع من الرقية ممنوع, and this type of ruqya is not permissible. This type of ruqya is not permissible. Naam. Next, the Shaykh he moves into, he says, what tama'im. And tama'im, here jama' tamima. What tamima here, ما يعلق بأعناق الصبيان للدفع العين, وقد يعلق على الكبار من الرجال والنساء. It is that which is hung upon the necks, نعم, hung upon the necks of children, particularly you find is hung upon the necks of children. And the reason they do this is what? Is to repel from them the evil eye. Or you even find that old people or older adults, right, or adolescents and the like, they may also have these type of chains that they hang around their necks from the men and the women. They hang these things around their necks. وَهُوَ عَلَى نَوْعَيْنِ, And this too is of two types. Two types of things that can be hung around the neck. So again, these are things that are hung around the neck or around a portion of the body, because you find some people that hang around the neck. Sometimes it comes in bracelet form. Sometimes the people that come in like some kind of satchel form where they put it around the waist and that. Now, the reason they do this thing is to some type of protection. Some type of protection. Now, you'll find the hand with the blue eyeball in it. A lot of people, they wear this thing, right? And they say because it's protection from the evil eye. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll come to this when we mention the second type. Ala kulli hal is of two types. And now the first type, min tama'im, the first type of this type of tama'im, these amulets, ma kana min al-Qur'an. It is that which is from the Qur'an. An amulet, na'am, that is from the Qur'an. And you'll find people that have it, it can even be an ayah, or it can be a very small Qur'an, na'am, a very small Qur'an, and so on and so forth. With regards to the shrunken Qur'an, this very small Qur'an, you find statements from the Salaf that they disapproved of writing the Qur'an very small like this because they deemed it as being disrespectful. Disrespectful. To write it all little like this is disrespectful. Now, is that which is written so little that it's not legible, except with a very strong magnifying glass or the like. So, ala kulli hal, we'll see. It is that which has the Qur'an. بأن يكتب آية من القرآن, that a verse in the Qur'an, it is written, أو من أسماء الله وصفاته, or the names and attributes of Allah are written on a paper and the like. ويعلقها للاستشفاء بها, and then it is hung upon a person so as to so they can seek a cure by way of it. فهذا النوع قد اختلف فيه العلماء في الحكم تعليقه على قولين. And the ulama, they have differed with regards to the permissibility or lack thereof of this particular type to two statements. قول الأول, the first statement, الجواز, they said it's permissible. وهو قول عبد الله بن عمرو بن عاص, وهو ظاهر ما روى عن عائشة, وبه قال أبو جعفر الباقر وأحمد بن حنبل في الرواية عنه, وحمله الحديث الوارد في المنع من تعليق التمائم على التمائم التي فيها الشرك. You have those who said it's permissible, like this, it is a statement of Abdullah bin Amr bin Aus, and the apparent statement or the apparent meaning of that which has been narrated on Aisha. And Abu Ja'far, he used to mention this statement, and you have a narration on Imam Ahmad that gives an indication of the permissibility of such. And this is as it comes in the generality of the hadith, which mentions the prohibition of hanging an amulet upon an amulet that contains shirk. Naam. So it's understood from the generality of this wording that we can't hang an amulet upon an amulet that has shirk, that amulets that don't have shirk, like they have the ayah from the Qur'an and so on and so forth, then it's okay. So based upon this, then some have said it is okay. وَقَوْلُ الثَّانِي, the second opinion, الْمَنِعْ مِنْ ذَلِكَ, is that they prohibit it. It's not permissible to have an amulet even if it contains a verse from the Qur'an and the like. وَهُوَ قَوْلُ Ibn Mas'ud, and this was the position of Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, وابن Abbas, and this was the statement of Ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma. وهو ظاهر قول حذيفة والعقبة بن عامر, and this was the clear statement and that which was apparent from the statement of Hudhayfa والعقبة بن عامر وابن عقيم. وبه قال جماعة من التابعين منهم أصحاب ابن مسعود, and this was the statement of Hudhayfa wa Uqba bin Amir wa Ibn Aqim, and a group of the Tabi'een. They also, this was their opinion, that it is not permissible even to have an amulet that has Qur'an on it, or the names and attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal. From them were the companions of Ibn Mas'ud, and you have a narration from Imam Ahmad, which most of the Imams of the Hanabila, most of the Hanbali Imams, they agreed with, which is of the prohibition of such, Naam. وجزم بها متأخرون and the like. And you have also some from the later ones who mention as such, and the like. واحتجوا بما رواه ابن مسعود, and they use as a point, or they use as a proof, that which Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he narrates. They use the hadith that was narrated by Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. And remember, he was the first one that Sheikh Fawzani mentions as those being who say it's impermissible to have amulets that contain even the Qur'an. It's not permissible. And he used as a proof the hadith in which Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول, he said that I heard the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم saying, إن الرقى والتمائم وتيولا شرك, that verily incantations and amulets and tiwala, inshallah we will explain shortly. The Shaykh explains what is a tiwala, that all of this is shirk, And Shaykh bin Baz, rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentions and commenting on this hadith, he mentioned that what is meant by ruqa in this hadith, it means the ruqya that contains shirk. So it means the second type of ruqya that Shaykh Fawzani mentioned, that ruqya which is not devoid of shirk. This is what is meant by ruqa here in this particular hadith. Now, what tiwala, and what is tiwala? Because tama'im, we know, tama'im is amulets. Now, well, before we mention tiwala, we have tama'im and amulets, the it is from shirk. Now, so all of the amulets that are mentioned, they took it in general. The amulets, period, is from shirk, regardless of what's written upon it, so it's not permissible. Regardless of what is written upon it, so it's not permissible. Now, and at tiwala, this is yani ashay yasna'una. This is something that the people that they do, وَيَزْعُمُونَ أَنَّهَا يُحَبِّبُ الْمَرْءَ إِلَى زَوْجِهَا أَوْ الرَّجُلُ إِلَى إِمْرَأَتِهِ. This is something that the people that they do, and they believe that, and by the Shaykh saying it's something that the people that they do, there are various things people do. Now, there's various things they do. It's not restricted to just one thing and not another, but there are various things that they do, and they believe that it will make a woman love her husband, or make a man love his wife. Now, or in more broad terms, they believe it'll make this one love that one, and so on and so forth, whether they married or not, or whatever. Now, so this will be like love potions, love spells, and to the end of that. All of this, then what? This is shirk. This is shirk. Love potions, love spells, so on and so forth. This is shirk with Allah Azza wa Jal. To gain some understanding, because a person may say, an amulet. How is an amulet shirk? I don't understand. How is a love potion shirk? I don't see the point, yani. It is because, as Sheikh Salih Abdis al-Sheikh, he mentions, with regards to the likes of these things, he says that it is known from Tawheed al-Rububiyyah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the al-Mudabbir. He is the one who arranges the affairs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the one who arranges the affairs inside of where? Inside of the universe. Allah Azza wa Jalla arranges the affairs in the universe. Naam. He said if an individual believes that a particular object or we can say a particular spell, so on and so forth, within itself will have an effect, meaning that it yields some type of power in Allah's universe, which could affect the decree of Allah Azza wa Jal. He said that no doubt about it, this is shirk with Allah Azza wa Jal. Because if an individual believes that that particular thing, that amulet, can actually prevent harm from coming to him within itself by itself, he said this is shirkul akbar. This is major shirk. Because now he's giving what? Characteristics that are unbefitting to an object that has no ability to do anything. That makes sense? And from this standpoint, you see the danger and the likes of this, and how it corrupts people's understanding. How they will take, subhanallah, a statue of an elephant with his trunk raised, and they point it in a certain direction, and so on and so forth, and they believe it has an effect to protect them from this or to grant them that. And to the extent that if you were to take it and turn it, they go crazy. What are you doing? No, put it back. Or they carry around a rabbit's foot, and they think that the rabbit's foot is going to protect them from evil. You understand? And that object within itself has some type of power and ability to save and protect them. And this bila shak is shirk. And it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense in any which way, shape, and form. As far as the elephant, if you tip it over the porcelain and it drop and it break, it didn't help itself. How it help you? As far as the rabbit foot, it's a rabbit foot of a rabbit that's deceased. Really didn't help the rabbit out from his situation, but so how's it going to help you? So it doesn't make sense. But this is the way the shaitan, he plays with the minds of the people who are giving to the likes of these type of superstitions and these polytheistic ways. And the same thing. Person, he comes with some kind of love potion and think he have power to make this one fall in love with that one, and so on and so forth. And that's Salaam. This is not good. This is not good. And all of this is from shirk with Allah Azza wa Jal. And Shaykh Fawzan, he says, وَهَذَا هُوَ الصَّحِيحِ. He says that the second opinion, that it's not permissible to even have amulets that have Qur'an written on them. He said it's not permissible. He said the fact that it's not permissible, that's the true statement. That is the correct statement. It's not permissible. And then he mentioned some reasons. He says لِوُجُوهِ ثَلَاثًا. 3 reasons. 3 reasons will show that it's not permissible. He says الأول عموم النهي. The first is the generality of the prohibition. وَلَا مُخَصِّص لِلْعُمُوم. Is the generality of the prohibition, which leaves no room for a specific or specification to that generality. Because the hadith is clear with tama'im. And that hadith has been collected by Imam Ahmad and Abu Dawood, Ibn Majah, wa Hakim. Where the Prophet ﷺ, he said that verily the incantations, meaning those that contain shirk, and amulets and love potions, is shirk. It's shirk. So there's a generality that is contained in that prohibition, which leaves no room for a specific or a specification of a special situation to that generality, or an exception to that generality. It leaves no room for it. The second reason why the statement of it being impermissible is the strongest of the opinions, Saddu Dhari'a. It is to close the door. فإنها تفضي إلى تعليق ما ليس مباح. It is to close the door, because if that door is opened for an ayah of the Qur'an, then it will open the door to the generality of the concept of amulets, which therefore would eventually lead to putting something around the neck or hanging something that is not permissible. That makes sense? If a person becomes accustomed to the concept of amulets, then it will lead him eventually to taking an amulet that contains shirk and utilizing it. Why? Because they have become accustomed and acclimated to the concept of amulets. So it will lead to that which no one debates about. This is the second. So by saying it's not permissible, then what? It cuts down the road to that. It cuts down in the door and closes the door that will lead to that eventuality. وثالث, thirdly, أنه إذا علق شيئا من القرآن, because if something is hung around an individual's neck or placed upon his person from the Qur'an, hung around him or his neck, his wrist or whatever, and it has an ayah from the Qur'an, فقد يمتحنه المعلق, then the person who is wearing it, he'll be put to trial بحمله معه في حال قضاء الحاجة. He'll be put to trial. Why? Because he always has it on his person. So now when he enters inside the bathroom, he will have it on him still. So he runs the risk of disrespecting the ayat of the Qur'an by bringing it inside of the bathroom. We know it's not permissible. So he will have it upon him at this time. Istinja, he'll have it on him when he's cleaning the najasa from himself after answering the call of nature. وَنَحْوُ ذَلِكَ, and other than that. And other than that. So eventually he will fall into that which is not permissible. And for those who would like more from this speech, they can look at Fath al-Majid, Sharh Kitab al-Tawheed, page 136. So this is as relates to the first type, and that is amulets that contain the Qur'an. The strongest opinion is that what is not permissible. وَالنَّوْعَ الثَّانِي, the second type, من التمائم, from amulets, التي تعلق على الأشخاص ما كان من غير القرآن, is those amulets that are hung upon a person that are from other than the Qur'an. Amulets that are hung upon a person that's not from the Qur'an. Like what? The Shaykh he mentions, he says, كالكرز والعظام, like people, they wear beads, and they say these beads protects them from something. Now you find it, people, they have crazy stuff, but they wear beads or idam, or they wear bones, and they think that these bones are some type of amulet. Now people are crazy, they have this stuff. People that deal with santeria, that they bone, chicken bone, and up, yes, they think it has power. والودع, and seashells, والخيوط, and strings. So you got to be very careful. You find people, they have bracelets and things of different strings, and these strings bear meanings, and they're protection of this, and they bring good health, fortune, fame. Well, I don't know, whatever. And people have some weird stuff. But you find it, and this is for the men in particular. Not imitating women and wearing bracelets, that standpoint saves us from this, from those, saves us from this standpoint. When the al, it's like a sandal, and Allah knows best, but what I understand what is intended here, it's like the sole of a shoe, or like you say, like a horseshoe or something of that nature. Because you find things that are adorned to the foot, people, they take them and they use them as amulets, like a horseshoe, and so on and so forth. Masamir, and also different types of nails and the like. Well, of course, asma' al-shayateen, or they may have amulets on them that have the names of the shayateen, wal-jinn, or the names of the jinn, devil worshippers. You will find them clad with things that have the name of shaitan, or something they feel is related to a shaitan, they think it has power, so on and so forth. والطلاسم, and talismanic type of things, and that. وهذا محرم قطعا. The Shaykh, he says, and this is haram across the board. Like, there's no even question about this. This is what's the word? Irrefutably شو اسمه كلمة unrefutably haram. نعم. طيب. وهو من الشرك, and this is from shirk with Allah Azza wa Jal. لأنه شوف, and this is a very important point when it comes to the likes of these things. لأنه تعليق على غير الله سبحانه وتعالى وأسمائه وصفاته وآياته. Because this is connecting oneself to what? To other than Allah Azza wa Jal and the names and attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal and of the verses of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, that an individual, he connects himself to other than Allah Azza wa Jal. And this here is going to point back to the other point of that what? That even when it comes to the ruqya itself, we have to understand that the ruqya itself, it is just a means from the means, a cause from the causes, but it is not that which will bring the healing with and within itself. You understand? The ruqya is a medicine, and it's from the best of the medicines. Now, but any medicine only cures by what? By the permission of Allah Azza wa Jalla, not within itself. And what is, and inshallah ta'ala we're going to come to this point in a little bit, as the Shaykh he mentioned, so we'll save it for that. Ala kulli hal, because it comes in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where the Prophet ﷺ he said, "Man ta'allaqa shay'an wukila ilayh." Whoever he is connected to something, then he is entrusted to it. So a person will be entrusted to what he connects himself to. You understand? This is why it's very important for the mu'min that we connect ourselves to Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, the Shaykh he says, "Ay, wakalahu Allah ila dhalika shay alladhi ta'allaqa." He said, meaning that Allah, He will entrust him to that thing in which a person has connected himself to. فَمَنْ تَعَلَّقَ بِاللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ فَمَنْ تَعَلَّقَ بِاللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. So whoever connects himself to Allah Azza wa Jal, وَاتَّجَى إِلَيْهِ وَفَوَّضَ أَمْرَهُ إِلَيْهِ, and whoever he connects himself to Allah, he seeks refuge with Allah Azza wa Jal, and he gives his affair to Allah, kafah Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Ta'ala, He will make him sufficient, or make him, He will suffice him with that. He will suffice him. He will take care of him. Now, whoever connects himself to Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah Ta'ala, He will take care of the individual. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهِ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Now, whoever puts his trust, or whoever fears Allah, then Allah will make for him a way out, and He will provide for him from ways in which he did not even imagine, ways he didn't even think about. Allah Ta'ala will take care of him. Na'am. وَقَرَبَ إِلَيْهِ كُلُّ بَعِيدٍ. And whoever puts his trust in Allah, he connects himself to Allah Azza wa Jal, then Allah will bring near to him everything that is far. وَيَسِّرْ لَهُ كُلَّ عَسِيرٍ. And Allah Ta'ala will make easy for him every difficulty. Every difficulty. Now, this is for the one who connects himself to Allah Azza wa Jal. وَمَنْ تَعَلَّقَ بِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ أو بِغَيْرِهِ من المخلوقين والتمائم وأدوية والقبور وكله الله إلى ذلك الذي لا يغني عنه شيئا. And whoever connects himself to created things, or to amulets, or to medicine, or to the graves, then Allah will entrust him to that thing in which will not benefit him whatsoever. Now, so going back to the point of how the medicine and the ruqya is only a means. We know when it comes to the medicine, it is only a means. Likewise the ruqya. How many people who are afflicted by something, na'am, ruqya is done to them, and they still afflicted? How many people got inside them a jinn? Na'am, a shaitan from the shayateen. And ruqya is done upon them, and the ruqya come and go, and the jinn's still there. Now, likewise, and we all have experienced the like of this, and you tell me if I'm wrong. A person gets a headache or something like this, he takes aspirin, he takes ibuprofen, whatever, and what happened? He still got a headache, right? Because what? The cure is from Allah Azza wa Jal. And the mu'min, we don't put our reliance upon the medicine. The medicine is a means. Naam, and we take the medicine. As the Prophet ﷺ, he commanded us to take medicine, seek medical treatment. We take the means. But our perspective on it is what it is. It's a means. It's not a cure. The cure is from Allah Azza wa Jal. The cure is from Allah Azza wa Jal. Because this one, he'll be afflicted with something, he take a particular medicine that is prescribed for such a type of an ailment, Allah Ta'ala cures that individual. Another individual afflicted with the exact same thing, he does not take that prescribed medicine that's prescribed to that particular ailment, Allah cures him too, without ever taking that thing. Now, so we realize that what? Then the cure is not restricted to what? To that medicine, but the cure is from Allah Azza wa Jalla. So it is important that even when it comes to medicine, even when it comes to a headache, a toothache, whatever, that we put our reliance and we connect our connection to Allah Azza wa Jalla. And then we take the means, because in taking the means, then this is to obey Allah Azza wa Jalla as He's commanded us to take the means. Allah has commanded us to take the means. Naam. But the cure and the success and the coming to fruition of a particular thing, that all lies with Allah Azza wa Jal. That is with Allah Azza wa Jal. Naam. But these things that the Shaykh he mentions, from the graves, from the medicine, the amulets, so on and so forth, these things that are in actuality لا يملك له ضرا ولا نفعا, they don't in actuality hold any type of harm nor benefit for an individual. Now, فَخَسِرَ عَقِيدَةٌ. So a person, if he allows himself to be connected to the likes of these things, and I'm stressing medicine, why? Because an individual may say, well, when it comes to an amulet, okay, I'm not connected to an amulet. When it comes to a grave, okay, I know about that. But how easy is it for the shaitan to trick us into believing that the cure is inside the pill? And you can see it. How many times people got to get their stomach pumped because they take one, it don't work. They take another one, it don't work. Take another one, it don't. Take another one, take another. Now they're in the hospital getting their stomach pumped. Why? Because they thought what the cure was contained inside that thing, but it's not. The cure is from Allah Azza wa Jal. The cure is from Allah Azza wa Jal. Or how many times a person, he had the sniffles, he has the flu, whatever, he takes Theraflu, whatever the thing is, and then he still feel miserable. Then he's wondering, it's not working. Because the cure is from Allah Azza wa Jal. And it's important that we always remember that, is that the cure is from Allah Azza wa Jal, and we have to always connect ourselves to Allah. So whoever does not do this, then what he does is he causes defect to his aqeedah. He causes defect to his aqeedah, to his creed. وَقَطَعَتْ صِلَتُهُ بِرَبِّهِ. And he severs his connection to his Lord. وَجَزَاء مِنْ جِنْسِ الْعَمَلِ. And the reward and the punishment will be appropriate to the crime. You should say that. The punishment is appropriate to the crime. Now, if an individual disconnects, he is the one who severs his relationship, his connection to Allah, فَخَذَلَهُ اللَّهُ. Then Allah will abandon him. A person himself turned away from Allah, then Allah will abandon him. He connected himself to something else other than Allah. What did the Prophet ﷺ say? وُكِلَ إِلَيْهِ. He'll be entrusted to it. He connected himself to something other than Allah Azza wa Jal, then Allah entrusts him to what he connected himself to. Now, and you know that person, he's going to be destroyed. So it's important that we pay very close attention to this. So the Shaykh, he says, فَالْوَاجِبْ عَلَى الْمُسْلِمِ. So it is incumbent upon the Muslim, الْمُحَافَظَ عَلَى عَقِيدَتِهِ, is that he safeguards his aqeedah. It is important. He safeguards his aqeedah. Some of the people that were present Sheikh Muhammad Aman al-Jami was on his deathbed, they said that some of his last words, the Sheikh, he kept saying, Aqeedah, 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 reminding the people of the importance of creed. And bila shak wa bila rayb, when the great Allama is saying Aqeedah, Minhaj is there. He means Minhaj too, because Aqeedah and Minhaj mutalazimatan, they come together. They come together. Naam. As Sheikh Rabi' Hafidhullah Ta'ala and others from the ulama, they mentioned that the Aqeedah and the Minhaj, they come together, they don't separate, they come together. Ala kulli hal, we have to protect our Aqeedah. Mimma yufsiduha aw yukhillu biha, we have to protect our Aqeedah from that which will corrupt it and make it all go away, or from that which will have an ill effect and adverse effect upon it and decrease it. فلا يتعاطى بما لا يجوز من الأدوية. So therefore we cannot utilize that which is not permissible from medicine, right? We cannot utilize that which is not permissible from medicine. ولا يذهب إلى المخرفين نعم المخرفين ومشعوذة ومشعوذين ليتعالج عندهم من الأمراض. And we cannot go to the hoax healers or the charlatans seeking treatment from sicknesses. We cannot go to the hoax healers and charlatans seeking treatments from sicknesses. نعم. لأنهم يمرضون قلبه وعقيدته, because they will make his heart and his creed sick. Going to these individuals, it will make the heart and the aqidah sick. Naam. And as the ulama, they explain and they mention, the shayateen, sometimes they have syndicates, naam, where they will bother a person because it is well known a human shaitan that works with them is in the area, and people go to that individual for treatment. Pay that person, naam, pay that person, and then the person does his shirk stuff till the person go commit shirk, and then the shayateen leave him alone. Naam. So if an individual is afflicted in this type of situation, he will think what? That charlatan, that hoax healer has some effect and some benefit for him, so then he will believe in that. It's like those shayateen who they possess people. Then the preacher man, he come with all his opposites of shirk, all his statements of shirk, telling it the shaitan to get out in the name of shirk and so on and so forth. And then what? Then the shaitan leave. Why? Because it was a Christian shaitan, that did what he did. So what? So as to increase the people in their belief in Christianity. You follow? So when a person subjects himself to the likes of these things, then they are in fact making their hearts and their aqidah sick. وَمَنْ تَوَكَّلَ عَلَى اللَّهِ كَفَاهُ. And whoever he puts his trust in Allah, Allah will suffice him. Allah will suffice him. So never jeopardize your aqidah, never jeopardize your heart to the likes of these things. Because remember, not every ailment are you meant to recover from, right? Because we all gonna die. You follow? So the next sickness might be our last sickness. Maybe it was the same sickness that we had a lot of times in our life, but it's decreed that that the next one will be the last sickness. So never subject yourself and damage your heart and your aqidah more, Well, you can't say, but never subject your heart and your aqidah to the likes of these things. Now, because they are dangerous and destructive. وبعد الناس يعلق هذه الأشياء على نفسه. And some people hang these things upon themselves. وهو ليس فيه مرض الحسي. Some people hang these things upon themselves and they don't actually have a physical ailment, meaning a physical ailment that they are necessarily suffering from. إنما فيه مرض والهمة, but rather he has with him imaginary ailments and worries. He has imaginary ailments and worries. Some people, they may, they're not really sick, but they, like hypochondriacs, they believe they're sick and they're not really sick. Nothing is really wrong with them, but they think they're sick. They suspicious. They think people, putting the evil eye on them or doing this or doing that and so on and so forth. Now, really ain't nobody doing nothing. Nobody thinking about them, right? وهو الخوف من العين والحسد, and it is to have fear from the evil eye and fear from envy. أو يعلقها على سيارته, or they'll put it on their car. أو دابته, or they'll put it on their animal. أو باب بيته, or they put it on the door of the house. أو دكانه, or they put it on the door of their business. نعم. وهذا كله هو الضعف العقيدة. And all of this is having weakness in Aqeedah. All of this is having weakness in Aqeedah. The fact that they think that hanging some things anywhere will have any type of benefit. This is a person that has a weakness in his Aqeedah. وَالضَّعْفِ توكله على Allah, and he has a weakness in his reliance upon Allah Azza wa Jal. وَإِنَّ الضَّعْفِ الْعَقِيدَةِ هُوَ الْمَرْضُ الْحَقِيقِ. The Shaykh, he says, and having a weakness in Aqeedah, then this is an actual sickness. This is an actual sickness. الَّذِي يَجِبُ عِلَاجُهُ. An actual sickness that it has to be remedied. You have to take the medicine for this sickness. And what is that medicine? بِمَعْرِفَةِ التَّوْحِيد. That is by knowing what is it Tawheed, وَالْعَقِيدَةِ الصَّحِيحَةِ. By knowing what is Tawheed and by knowing what is the correct creed. This is how the remedy, this is the medicine for the sickness of a person being sick in his Aqeedah. The cure, it lies in knowing what is it Tawheed, knowing what is the correct and sound Aqeedah. Then the Shaykh Hafidhullah Ta'ala gets into the next chapter, which deals with the ruling of swearing by other than Allah Azza wa Jal, putting one's trust and reliance, seeking help in times of peril, seeking aid and assistance from created things and so on and so forth. But we'll save that to the next class inshallah ta'ala. فأتوقف هنا فنكتفي بهذا القدر. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وجزاكم الله خيرا.